Hiya, hiya. Welcome to Birdland and to my fellow bird brains. I don't want to call you a name to begin with. You're known as an audience. I don't know how many people are watching this thing or listening to it. Some people only listen to it, and then others just watch me move my lips, and they don't care about what I'm saying, but they want to see that beautiful smile and the sunshine behind me and the bird on my shoulder. You know, there's been a lot of mention about this bird. This bird now wants to form a union. They say birds of a feather flock together, and that's where that comes from. But I think different than that. I think when I was a kid in school, they used to say birds of a feather flock together. And then they said like seeks like. And after that, it was opposites attract. But the reality is that sick picks sick. That's the reality. Isn't that right? Yeah. Well, there's no feather here. I mean, this is an isolation system where the bird really has a relationship with me that's unparalleled. And I think, wait a minute, I don't want to ruffle your feathers, but maybe I want to get you out of the range of the iPhone. Okay, Michael Jackson. Now, there's someone whose feathers were ruffled. You talk about somebody after he dies, which is kind of, it's very American, you know. They say how wonderful someone was when they die. This time they're saying how terrible he was, which is the opposite. But not really terrible. They're saying that he was a perpetrator. Love that word. And they refer to these people in sexual abuse on Leaving Neverland as people who got nothing out of all of this except sexual abuse. But you know, the fact of the matter is that the parents did want them to have something more than that. They're not talking about only the kid's intentions of being healthy. The one kid really wanted to dance, and he's become now a top choreographer. So he did get that out of it. I don't know the sexual part. I guess the question is whether Michael's gay or not. That doesn't often come up. And the other thing is that it's an assumption. You know, we assume things. But then he married Presley, and so we thought, well, maybe he's straight and he has a couple of kids. It's all so it's so Hollywood, you know. I mean, all of this is done with hiding facts and figures, and the fact of the matter is that we do not live off of reality. We live off of image. It's what you think. It's a perception. And I watched Oprah last night following the broadcast of the Leaving Neverland, the second version. And Oprah, not even on her own channel, but she was pretty good. You know, she got 100 survivors in the audience, and the kids who were, they're not kids anymore, the guys who were suffering from all of this. But she never asked them at this point how their sex life is at this point. That would be interesting. What has it done? How has it impacted your sex life now? I guess maybe they didn't want to talk about that part. But you know, it's always something, there's always another question. And I saw a therapist on a CBS morning show this morning. She was really good. Ronique is her name, from New York. And she gave a pretty good description of the secrets and how people act nice, and then they get into the family system, and all of a sudden there's some sort of funny action going on that's unacceptable, inappropriate, that's way over the line, that's determines someone's sexuality for the rest of their life. I don't know if that's valid. I don't know. See, these are things that we never used to discuss in a puritanical society, because we're living in a country where the Pilgrims landed here, and I don't think they ever left. We have chaperones for dates. We still have that. You still have that. And if you don't believe me, let me tell you what it's like when the guy came home with my daughters, or the two guys, or separately. I never liked any of my daughter's boyfriends. How could I? They're taking the girls away from me. These are the girls who adored me more than my wife, you know. You Bet Your Wife was a television show. No, I don't think it was called that. So, you know, we have a different kind of a society now, because everything's out in the open, it's all transparent, and we're all talking about things openly, and we're letting people out of jail. We're finding DNA that this guy didn't commit the crime, and this woman was that, and we didn't know it, and we have CSI solving crimes, and we have also shows about how it's like to commit a murder. I'm lost. I'm in the abyss, or what is it? The Vortex? Is that what I am? I don't know what I am anymore. I'm just a guy on the air. That's all. You know, you can't leave this up to public discussion because everybody has a different story, a different idea. Not everybody, but many people don't agree. And it keeps you going. It just keeps you going. And you know, we have replaced our common sense with something uncommon. So we now have become a country of uncommon sense and of revelation. I mean, I didn't know that. That's the first thing you hear when it's on the news. Even with the hurricanes and the tornadoes and all the weather changes and global warming and the war with the Russians and the North Koreans, you know what? My head's very tired. I got to turn my head off. What is it? Can't wrap your head around it? My head is wrapped very untightly. It's a Reynolds Rap.